Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. So I wake up and Isak wants to leave. Fabrizio's tweeting that Isak wants Liverpool. Isak is about to leave, and Newcastle fans are having a meltdown. Traitor. They're doing the same thing that Liverpool did for Trent, actually, even though the guy has 3 years left at his contract. All the talk is about Isak. They stole the thunder from Arsenal fans, signing Gyokeres and Mosquera, and about to sign Eze. And all the shows are talking about Isak to Liverpool. Will they walk the league? Does Isak joining Liverpool affect Arsenal that much? Do Liverpool play Arsenal every single game? That is the question that people are asking. Is that Liverpool now going to get 100 points and Arsenal cannot catch them, or City cannot catch them? Manchester City, of course, signed James Trafford from Burnley. That is not good enough for them, but they say they're going to keep Edison. Man City are looking for a right back, of course. But listen, there is a lot to talk about. Can Arsenal actually do the madness and go try for Rodrygo? Or is it going to be Liverpool signing Rodrygo and Isak, and Liverpool are doing Maresca, and they're going to spend £500 million in one window, which is unprecedented, of course. But Liverpool are spending 2 summers' money in 1 summer, and that is their right. Of course, they didn't spend anything last summer, and they just won the league, so they have all the right to do that. Listen to Rory yesterday on Latte Firm. What is it called, that channel? It was a great show with the Carnage guy, and they were actually talking about what can Arsenal do to actually offset the distance that people are talking about between them and Liverpool. That was actually a great discussion. If you haven't checked it, go check it. Check Rory's channel as well. He's doing great content there, lives and videos and everything. The football story, of course, was Jamie, who's doing content as well. He's now on Straight Facts on the Football Terrace. Fantastic show, of course, every Monday in the morning. Dan can join us today because he has an emergency with his house and stuff like this. He's good, but he just can't join us today. Hit that like button, people. We got 400 people in the house and we have just started the show. So let's get the likes up, people, and vote as well. Who's going to score more goals? I like the video. Let's get to 300 likes. And let's go with it. Let's go. How are you guys feeling?
Good.
As a Liverpool fan, very good.
And that is what... That's actually something that I wanted to ask. So Arsenal fans are not happy then? As a Liverpool fan, he's like, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Isn't this a dream window for Arsenal as well?
Both of us could be happy.
The thing about it is
I wouldn't say it's
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I wouldn't say it's a dream window if Isak goes to Liverpool. But there is an element of, like, you can only control what you can control. And if he goes there, then it is what it is.
So are you in the camp of Arsenal should do more to offset that?
We need one more signing, in my opinion. We need
That's it.
a left winger. Yeah,
But not Eze.
it could be Eze. I could see Eze. I could see it working with Eze. Rodrygo would still be my preference.
Do you regret the way like the Isak situation is kind of unfolded that you're not in the mix for him now? Obviously, going for Gyökeres.
Not really. Like it would be the easiest thing to sit here and say, "Oh, we should have waited," but no one thought Isak was available, and we did that last summer where we waited and tried to be patient with Sesko, and we ended up with no one. So if we'd got to this stage where we're already in pre-season and we hadn't done any of our business because we'd been waiting on Isak, and even then it might not be possible. I just think we couldn't afford to take that risk again. The regret is that we didn't do enough work last summer to be in a position where this summer it would have been achievable. But even if we had waited, I still look at it and I'm like, if you look at the numbers that they're suggesting Isak's going to go for in terms of like 150 million, 300 grand a week, Arsenal, it wouldn't have just been getting Isak instead of getting Victor Gyökeres. It would have been getting Isak and not getting Victor Gyökeres or Madueke or
Eze or Rodrygo. So,
yeah, and I think we just didn't have the depth for that to be something that we could do.
And also Isak, okay, this is the thing. Everyone is talking about that Isak left. Newcastle can say 150 plus. And then, okay, that's what, by the way, I'm just going to tell you something, Jamie.
Yeah.
Liverpool did exactly what you didn't ask Arsenal to do. Liverpool didn't wait. Liverpool got the striker. So even if Isak doesn't move, you have a striker to start the season. But if Arsenal waited for Isak, and they couldn't get him because he chose a different club or the fee's too high or he didn't agree the wages, Arsenal would end up with no striker. A lot of Arsenal fans have actually commented on the video that I released yesterday about, we have the funds. I'm not sure if Arsenal have that much funds like Liverpool, because Arsenal last summer spent over 100 million. They paid Raya, they got Calafiori, they got Mikel Merino. So Arsenal spent money last summer. Liverpool didn't. So Liverpool have leeway more to actually, we're going to sign Iketika and wait for Isak. Arsenal couldn't.
Yeah.
If they waited for Isak, it could have ended up in a disaster, by the way, for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think, and it would have been a lot more, like say, pressure on Arsenal if they had have waited this long. Like you see, even like with the Gyökeres deal, like that's obviously been delayed a little bit, and like the pressure that has probably brought in the club from like that situation, just of like waiting around on it. But no, I agree. I don't think he could have waited. It was just more of a question just to see like, was it, like, I think obviously you'd rather Isak, but with the money that's being talked about, like for him, it is going to be a very pricey deal in the end for Liverpool. But I suppose it's more a case of, if you have the money, just do it. Do you know what I mean? Because of the quality that you're adding to the squad, and if Liverpool can do it, then I think I don't think that it will go up to 150, because I think before, when Newcastle could say we're not letting them go for anything other than 150, that was at a time when he was like okay, and there was no kind of issues with him at the minute. Now I think they obviously, he's not gone on the tour. He's sitting at home. He wants to go. They're going to be like, if a bid comes in at 120 million, like, I know they can obviously haggle and say we're not going to sell him, but at the end of the day, if he wants to go, you need to take the money. You know what I mean? And that's the position that they've put themselves in now, where they don't have a replacement for him, and he wants to leave. Which is, they're in a difficult situation. And Liverpool are just, it's actually played out perfectly for Liverpool in terms of, they said, right, we're not going to go for him. We went for Ekitike. Now he wants to go. And then Liverpool, right, well, we still have the money. We can pay for him and bring him here. So yeah, it's all fell into place in a very good situation for us.
I don't think Newcastle are in a tough place because the player wants to go, but the player has 3 years left at his contract.
I know.
You're not going to force their hand.
Yeah, but player power is huge. Like, if you bring him back into the fold and he's been, like, say, he hasn't gone on the preseason tour and he's just sitting at home wanting to leave, like, it does come into a player's position, and what he wants to do does come into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, Diaz in the same situation. Like, he wants to leave, but obviously he's not like Liverpool's star man. So he's just kind of chipping away. I seen James Pearce talking to the Athletic saying his like attitude and training is like as good as it's ever been. And he's still like pushing for a way. And that's because there's no pressure in that situation. You know what I mean? Liverpool want to keep him if he wants to stay, but if he wants to go, then we'll get like a strong amount of money for him.
Yeah, it depends on it does depend on his attitude and what they think his attitude will be if they keep him and they say, look, you're not going, that's the end of it. So you can either now play for us this season as a professional and be committed, and we'll let you leave next summer.
Yeah.
Or if they think he'd be a problem, because it's happened loads in the past where players want to move.
Harry Kane, I think he won Golden Boot after. Didn't Harry Kane win Golden Boot in the season that he wanted to go to Man City, and then he played for Spurs, and then he got his move to Bayern Munich just 2 years later or something. So that happens.
Yeah. I just have to. There's someone at the door. 1 second.
Go ahead.
But I fundamentally, I don't think he's worth 150 million. Like,
really,
I don't really think in this day and age, I don't really think any player is worth 150 million. And if you look at the players that have gone for that, I think it's difficult to justify.
But Rory, if Rice is 100 million and Wirtz is 100 million and Caicedo's 100 million, surely a striker of that ilk is worth that much money. Like, surely, because they're rare.
I'm not sure it is. They are rare, but I just still think that there's a couple of red flags with the season that he was playing in the Champions League with Newcastle. I think he only managed to play 40 games that season all in. He's not actually proven at any point yet that he can manage 2 games a week. And it's, I just think 150 million is a bit too much. 120 I could get behind, but 150 is
so you don't, okay, so the difference, I think that he actually makes the scale go towards Liverpool massively in the league. Massively. And in the Champions League. Like, I think they become favorites for the league and the Champions League, basically. And if they have the money, they have the money for it. You know what I mean? And there's no other team that will actually be able to match them. I know that we're going to talk about, like, because Jess mentioned something yesterday, and it was actually spot on, that Arsenal just need to do their thing. We now know that Arsenal are the main contenders for Liverpool, especially after signing Gyokeres and getting, trying to get Eze and stuff. But you got to look at Isak and say, he is actually a difference maker for Liverpool. Because not only about his goals, it's about his link-up play. It's about how he assists. We saw him play on the left for Newcastle and be brilliant as well. Like, he's a very versatile player. He's not like a Haaland ilk player in terms of like goal scoring, but he's someone, his all-round game is much better than probably a lot of strikers. He reminds me of Lewandowski. Lewandowski could assist, could score, play outside the box. He reminds me of that, to be honest, every time I'm watching him. And remember, he plays in a weaker team. He won't have Wirtz or, like at Newcastle, he doesn't have Wirtz or Salah trying to assist him or McAllister. Now he goes to Liverpool. It's a completely different ball game for him, to be honest. That front line is going to be deadly. The only problem, and this is what I wanted to ask, the only problem at Liverpool is still left wing. Because people say that Diaz and Gakpo are good.
You don't rate Gakpo. That's why you think it's an issue. Gakpo's unbelievable. He's one of the best
Did could play off the left.
Didn't I tell you last? Bad Martinelli had 2 GA less than Cody Gakpo in the league. Awful Martinelli. Gakpo's good. He's a good player. You watch Cody Gakpo, is a good player. Is he a difference maker? Is he someone that can carry that left side? Probably you don't need like a star in every position.
But
he scored against Man City and Real Madrid last year when Liverpool, one of the biggest weeks of the season. He scored when we needed him, and like I think his reliability is there. I think the competitiveness between him and Diaz last season was like one of the reasons we won the league. And then Diaz obviously went up front. Gakpo, I'm telling you now, like he's only going to get better working under a slot. So I don't mind him being our left winger choice.
Jimmy, sorry, Jimmy, you won the league because Salah had a historical season.
One of the reasons.
Don't beat around the bushes, guys. Like this is like this, and Liverpool fans. Sorry, Rory, apologies to cut you off. What happens last season is unprecedented. Having a player to get, I'm gonna repeat this again. What
Haaland did it 3 years ago.
And they won a treble.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. It's not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented. You have players that have unbelievable years.
It is unprecedented. Haaland didn't have the season that Salah had. Haaland didn't have 47 GA. No player in the history of the Premier League had 47 GA. Ever in a 38 games. Ever.
No.
That never happened.
No, but what I'm saying is that I think like he broke the goal scoring record that season. He just didn't have the same number of assists as Salah. But like in terms of GA, I'm almost certain he was like 4 or 5 behind or something. I think he was on 44 and that's why they won the treble, Jamie.
Haaland was the main catalyst why they won the
No.
treble.
Yeah,
in the
he's
league.
one of the main catalysts, but like we can keep on going back to this conversation. Big players win you big trophies, and Salah is one of the biggest players in world football. There's not like
100%.
so like you need the quality, but like can you not say like the quality of McAllister, how good he was, the quality of Van Dijk, the quality of Trent, the quality of Alisson? You know what I mean?
100%.
It's Salah was unbelievable, but at the same time,
I never disagreed, Jamie. I never disagreed. I never
but, like,
disagreed with this. But you can offset McAllister. Van Dijk, I get you. You cannot offset McAllister. Sorry, Van Dijk. Van Dijk is one of a kind, right?
Okay, so it's
But
two players.
Mohamed Salah is, bro, he's phenomenal. He's amazing.
Yeah, but I think this Isak signing is probably Liverpool preempting obviously the end of Mo, because if you bring in Isak for 150 million and he's 25, you're probably going to get what 5-6 good years out. Let's just say like 31, he starts to decline.
Yeah.
So like you bring them in when they're both there and they're both able to contribute to the team, and either one is not as relied upon. So yeah, I think like if Liverpool sign Isak, then you don't need to have Salah to have another unbelievable season, which I don't think a lot of Liverpool fans are expecting him to go on and do the exact same as he did last season, especially he's going to be missing games. So yeah, like I think we obviously can say Salah was one of the reasons that Liverpool won last year, but I think you undermined how good that team was considering the levels that they were at this season before, and like what Slot got to get out of some of those players. Like even Robertson was steady and like his legs were running down. Do you know what I mean? He was just someone that could play and do a job at left back. You weren't expecting him to be the overlapping fullback that he was in previous years. And Gakpo and Diaz contributed a lot to us winning the league. So yeah, Salah was a part of it, but the team contributed. Like McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai were all unbelievable too. There's a lot of good things about this team.
I was going to ask Rod a question. So do you think if Arsenal got Isak, he would have scored more than Gyökeres, for example, for Arsenal? I keep asking myself this question since yesterday.
Good question.
Like I'm like, okay, Arsenal got Gyökeres. They are hoping that Odegaard is going to go back to his best, which is, people forget that Odegaard was top of the chart in Europe in big chances created just 2 seasons. And I'm not saying 2 seasons ago, just the season before last. Saka creates a lot of chances. Saka was on course to be a record assist in the Premier League. He got like 9 assists in the first 12, 15 games or something like this. So he was going to have a good season. If Arsenal signed Isak, would that have made a difference in terms of like a number 9? Because Arsenal want a different number 9. Want a number 9 that is a box striker. Would that have made a difference?
I think it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I think Isak, I would back, if I had to stick money on it, I'd back Isak to have scored more, purely because I know that he's done it in the Premier League. Like I know he's a 20-goal a season striker, even at Newcastle. So you throw him alongside Odegaard and Saka, he probably scores even more. So yeah, I'd probably expect Isak to score more. But then if you're paying more than double the amount for him, then you'd expect that.
Yeah.
I actually think for Arsenal, it's not going to depend on the striker, because they got the striker. And listen, Gyökeres is one of the most prolific strikers, numbers-wise, in the world currently. Yes, he did it in the Portuguese league, but he did it for 2 years. He scored 94 goals or something like this in like 105 games. But it all depends on the other factors for Arsenal. We know that Odegaard has to perform. We know that Saka needs to stay fit. We know that the left wingers need to up their game a little bit. Is that what is going to happen? Arsenal defense is just going to get stronger now, in my opinion, with Zubamendi and Declan Rice playing in the double pivot or whatever the Arteta is going to play. That defense, Timber now, 1 more year of experience at Arsenal, he's going to be better. Miles Lewis-Kelly and Calafiori, 1 more year, that is even better and better, right? But the attacking power is the problem for Arsenal still. That's why Eze is a must for Arsenal, in my opinion. Like, they need to sign Eze. I actually think that they need to sign Rodrygo as well, or a left winger, Liao, or someone like this. And a lot of people don't like Liao, but I like Liao. But can Arsenal actually win the league next season is the question. Yes, they can. As I mentioned, they don't play Liverpool every single game. You only play Liverpool twice. And Arsenal haven't lost a game against Big Six teams since they lost to Man City 3-1. Like, that is 3 years ago now. If I'm not mistaken, that is 3 seasons ago. So head to head, like, will Arsenal lose? The history shows that Arsenal won't lose to big teams. That is that the history shows.
Yeah,
So,
but I don't think that's Arsenal's issue. I would say those kind of games, like the West Ham game last season, for example. Do you know what I mean? It's just like those games where like you have a lot of chances, you have to be able to take them. I think that's where Arsenal.
Yeah. But
But
that's
that's
why
what
for me,
Gyökeres-
that's exactly what Gyökeres has come in for, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like people always
Yeah.
highlight look at how many goals he scored against the lesser teams in the Liga Portugal. I'm like, yeah, we literally need someone that scores goals against lesser teams because that's where we drop points with draws far too often. And even in the first, it's only a pre-season and it's the first pre-season game, but even against AC Milan in that pre-season friendly, I think we had like 25 shots and 9 on target and only scored 1 goal. So it's still a problem without him being there. And hopefully that makes a big difference.
100%. DJ Steele is saying Newcastle should say, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Newcastle should say to Liverpool 150 million up front or nothing. It doesn't work like this. That's what people think. It doesn't work like this. 150. He's an asset. If he has to go, Newcastle will have to budge a little bit, especially because the player wants to leave Newcastle. You know what I mean? Newcastle going for Cisco is ridiculous, to be honest. That is another thing.
Yeah. I do still think that Liverpool have weaknesses that haven't been addressed. I think that they're so short at centre-back. And I know like the plan is to go for Gay and that can't happen yet because of Crystal Palace's situation, and it's the same with Arsenal and Eze. But like you're one Van Dijk injury away from having to play Konate and Gomez twice a week every week, and they're both injury prone themselves. And I don't know how Konate is going to be this season, knowing that as it stands, he's got a year left and then he wants to move to Madrid for free. So, I think that is a definite weakness. It doesn't matter how many good attacking players you've got. If you end up without a centre-back pairing for a prolonged period, you're in trouble.
There's another problem that nobody mentioned and someone mentioned in my comments. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah.
The midfield. The midfield is the problem.
It'd be like a few years ago when we lost Van Dijk to that big injury. Do you know what I mean? I know we had Matip and Gomez as well. They both got injured, and we had to play Nat Phillips and Reece Williams. But yeah, I think that is an issue. I don't think Liverpool, after spending all the money that they're going to spend, they're going to go into the season with like a stupid thing where they have Gomez as backup to Konate and Van Dijk. I think they'll realise they need to address that issue. So like, if they get in Mark Gahey, then I think we're pretty much sorted then. Because I think what they're probably thinking as well is they could potentially play like Endo in like some of the early cup games and stuff. He's played there a few times. Even Gravenberch sometimes has played there. So like it could be something that we do, but I do expect them to get in a centre back as well, even though they are going for Isak.
The midfield. Gravenberch showed a little bit slowness at the end of last season when he got tired because you played him every game. I don't think that Liverpool would be good with Endo, for example, or Curtis Jones as a DM. That is not a good midfield. I think Norgard, to be honest, I woke up. It was 6:30 in the morning for me to watch Arsenal play AC Milan. And if you watch the first half and you watch Norgard play, he's not a bad player as people think he is. He's a good player. The guy is a good player. He's a good backup, right? Liverpool don't have depth in the midfield, especially if you sell Harvey Elliott. Wirtz is good. McAllister is good. Gravenberch is good. Curtis Jones, probably okay. Good as well.
Good squad.
But that's Szoboszlai, okay. But to be honest, the DM is a big problem. And people say that the DM is a big problem for Liverpool. If Gravenberch, and by the way, if Gravenberch doesn't perform like last season for all games, and I believe that this season it will go down to just one game, as you guys mentioned, West Ham game for Arsenal or stuff like this. It will take 1-2 games for Liverpool to drop points. It might go down to like, you remember the Arsenal versus Man City game, the last 18 games? When it took one game from Arsenal just to lose the title. This is it. Yeah. It was one slip that happened.
Yeah, but like the one slip that happened, but that comes after the accumulation of not being like not within touching distance for so long. Like leading up to that, I think it was like a 10 points gap. They closed it a little bit. And then they lost to West Ham, and then Liverpool go meet Man City, and then it's almost game over. So, like, there's stuff that happens before that in terms of the context of why they were in that situation. So, yeah, I think Liverpool DM definitely is an issue, especially with how much Gravenberch is used. I think McAllister might play a little bit there. Endo might play a little bit there. It's not the same as having Gravenberch, but I think there's, with the way the team is now, there's probably maybe some frailties in that. But listen, like, the way Michael Edwards and Liverpool do business, it's like they feel what they think is comfortable. Like you would have said the exact same last year, do you know what I mean? Going into the season, that like they didn't have a DM. Never mind like using Gravenberch there. They actually didn't have one. They didn't get Zubimendi, and then they had to play Gravenberch there, and it worked out. So they might feel like Gravenberch deserves to continue his place, and then we can just rotate in and out depending on what we need. But it'll be interesting because obviously last season, coming into the end of the year, Liverpool like did tail off a little bit. But was that a case of because they had the league wrapped up, they weren't really competitive? They kind of took their foot off the gas. They were in party mode basically for like the last 4 weeks of the season. So will they push on again? Like, will Gravenberch be able to kind of kick on if they go far in the Champions League and in the Premier League if they're going down to the wire for a title? That would be the question mark. But yeah, I think. But no, I'm happy with the business that everything's done so far. I think there's like Trent obviously left. You bring in Frimpong, then you have Gyökeres obviously coming in to overtake Robertson, and then obviously the forward there is Wirtz. Like, you're bringing in one of the best 10s in the world. Like, I think Liverpool. I feel like Liverpool last season, they're obviously moving away from that kind of Klopp, really high press, high tempo, and I think they had a lot more in control in games, which was good to see. And I think that's the type of, like, it wasn't like the Hail Marys that we used to see where Klopp would just be like, go, like, you attack, we attack sometimes. And yeah, I think with Wirtz coming in, I think that'll only help that style of play, because Trent, the position that he was in, he would kind of make that sometimes the Hollywood ball. Whereas Wirtz, when you have that, you're playing a lot further up the pitch and you're kind of controlling the tempo of the game from that side rather than from where Trent is. So yeah, I think it'll be a little bit of a shift. It will be a different Liverpool next season in terms of like how they create, because obviously you don't have Trent that right back. So
the gelling is a big problem for Liverpool. That is what people told me. You're going to start the season with about 5 new starters, especially if Isak joins and Luis Diaz leaves, or 4 new starters in Wirtz, Frimpong, Gyökeres, and Isak if he joins. Is that going to be a problem? Anybody think that is going to be a problem?
No.
Yeah, I think quality overrides like that.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit overestimated. I mean, when Arsenal started the 22-23 season with one of the best starts in Premier League history, 47 points from 52 or something crazy. That summer, I mean, we brought in Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, Saliba started for the first time that season, which meant also Ben White at right back for the first time. Like, there was a lot of change at the start of that season. And as long as you have a good pre-season, I think you're absolutely fine. And Liverpool, because they did their business early, will have the whole of pre-season to figure things out. And the actual spine of the team is going to be the same, right? There's Alisson, Konate, Van Dijk, McAllister, Gravenberch.
With that as well, though, like, I would turn it the other way and say, like, the same with Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're bringing in a lot of new players as well. Like, will they kind of go, like, Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Madueke if he starts left wing? Like, there's a lot of change for both. And even you could maybe look at Man City if Trafford starts, if they bring in a new right back, if they bring in a new left back. Reinders and Turkey are probably likely to both start. So, yeah, I think there's changes for all 3 teams, but that's because they all needed it in some form of different capacity.
Yeah, 100%. Mohammedir is saying, now that we are in for Isak, the narrative has shifted to our midfield isn't good, lol. Stop being frauds. Slotkat coach Sabozlai to play DM and rotate with McAllister. Okay, so
this is this thing where you're not allowed to have any opinion that is anything other than Liverpool have a perfect team, everything is perfect, and they're going to win the league by 20 points.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't like. If I criticize Man City, like, okay, it's bad. If I criticize Liverpool, it's bad. If I criticize Arsenal, for example, for anything, that is not good. Like, we can have an objective conversation about teams. No team is complete. There's no team in the history of the sport that was complete. Even Barcelona had PK at the back. And
that Barcelona 2011 team was pretty close to perfect.
But I bet going into that
got
season,
beaten by Inter. Didn't it?
No, not that season.
Didn't it get beaten by Inter in 2010?
But they win the sextuple that year, or was it just the treble?
2009.
No, 2011 they were better. 2011 they were better.
Okay, 2009 they won the treble, and then I think after this they won the double or something like this, and then Inter after this just beat them. I'm not saying that Liverpool are not, but Liverpool, no team is complete. Arsenal not complete.
Yeah,
no team is complete. There is no team in the history is complete.
Listen, like, whatever about social media, but I think, and if there's people in the chat or people making comments, even going into next season, Liverpool, there'll be more pressure on Liverpool to go out and like win the league now, because they're obviously the reigning champions and the money that they spend. But I think most Liverpool fans are realistic that like it's going to be tough. Do you know what I mean? There's no way of getting around that. There's probably areas that we wish we maybe had a bit more support in. But at the end of the day, as you said, Mo, no team is complete. And it's about figuring out those problems throughout the season, whether that's injuries, whether that's bad luck of form, whether that's shifting players into different positions, whether that's your manager getting players up for certain games, or like maybe being able to manage different situations that come throughout the season. That's all part of winning big titles. So, yeah, like I don't think Liverpool are complete, and I don't think any Liverpool fan would say that, even if we get Isak, that we're like the best team in.
No, but the problem is
ever.
Wrap up the league. Wrap the league. The league is over. Hand them the title.
I think that's just
people say that.
I think that's
half the people in the chat. We may as well not even watch next season. We just hand it over already. It's crazy.
Yeah, guys. We got like almost 1,000 people. Can we get the likes up a little bit?
Yeah, get the likes up. But if you dare say, actually, no, Liverpool have got the best team and they should definitely win the league. Well, no, you're not allowed to say that, because then you're trying to put pressure on them, and that's not fair either. So they've got the best team and no one can compete with them. But if they don't win the league, it's fine because they won it last year.
Do you know what? I was chatting with, in a group chat. I was like, I actually can't wait to seeing at matches. The Reds have got no money, but they'll still win the league. It's gonna hit different.
Yeah.
Bro, like all I have to say is that there's no team is complete. And listen, there are things that can happen in the season. You don't know. Again, I'm gonna repeat again. What happened to Arsenal last season is the same, right? That might happen to Liverpool this season. What I mean by this, when Arsenal finished the season before with that 16 wins out of 18, I've spoken to Arsenal fans, and we were doing this show. Right? There are a lot of Arsenal pundits and a lot of Arsenal content creators that assume that Arsenal will start the season the same, and Kai Havertz will go in the same rate like the season before, and Odegaard will have the same season. That doesn't happen in football. It's rare that a team goes to the season after with the same exact momentum and mentality of the season before, right? The problem with some Liverpool fans, and I'm just saying, Liverpool fans can say, you hate our club. No, I don't. But the reality is, things happen. Like Salah gets injured, Saka gets injured, Odegaard gets injured, Konate gets injured, Gabriel literally pulled a hamstring, right? And they played against Real Madrid without him. These things happen. People assume that things will be perfect. I'm going to start the season and things are going to be perfect. That doesn't happen. But you prepare for the best. You prepare the best way you can. I'm not going to sit here and assume that, Liverpool are 100% winning the league. Like what people said, Arsenal 0% against Real Madrid. Didn't happen, right? Like Arsenal played good against Real Madrid. City have no chance of winning the league. What if Pep Guardiola finds his magic again and they just start winning games after games after games after games, and he finds that form again, and then we're going to sit here having egg on our face. We ruled out Pep Guardiola. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in football. I never saw the Arsenal from fucking fifth when Conte got the top 4, right? The Arsenal next season will have the best start ever in the history of the Premier League. Whoever saw this can happen. Things happen in football. You prepare for the best. And I'm just going to say, Liverpool or Arsenal are head and shoulders above everyone else, including Manchester City. If Arsenal get Eze, they're head and shoulders above Man City. If Liverpool get Isak, they're head and shoulders above Man City. But Man City have one thing that Arsenal and Liverpool don't have. They're the best manager on the planet in Pep Guardiola. I'm not going to rule him out. I'm going to say he has a smaller chance, but I'm not going to rule him out. Same for Chelsea, by the way. Chelsea finished 4th, right? What is stopping Chelsea from having a good start like what Arsenal did 3 years ago? Can someone tell me? Arteta was novice. He only had 2 years as a coach, right? Only 2 years. The most of the team were young. Most of the team. They only had Granit Xhaka, if I'm not mistaken. Granit Xhaka was the only experienced player. They had Gabriel Jesus, a failed striker at Man City. Zinchenko, a failed left back at Man City. A young Saka, 21 years old. A failed Odegaard that is coming from Real Sociedad and didn't work out for Madrid. A player from France, a Bozo Gabriel. We all remember Bozo Gabriel. And Arsenal had the best start ever in the Premier League. Chelsea can do the same. Football is not played on paper. Yes, Liverpool won the league already. It doesn't work like this, and I'm just going to repeat it. I'm excited for the next season for the Premier League. I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be an amazing season, and there's going to be ups and downs in the league. It's not going to end in day one. It's not going to end in day one.
Well, who's
That is
saying
what
that's going
people
to end in day
assume.
one?
A lot of people in the chat.
No. I don't
Wallahi
think so.
al-Azim, I think
I've
you're
been
reading the
I've been
chat.
reading it.
I don't
If
think
you
you're
literally
reading the
say-
chat. I don't think you're reading the chat.
I haven't
They are
read
simply
it.
saying that it might be over.
No, I did listen. If like, I think there's pressure on every club to win next season. Like Man City haven't won. And Man City, by their own standards, had a terrible season last year. Do you know what I mean? I think the FA Cup as well. Like that would have hurt them and how they performed in the league. Arsenal are trying to get like over the line. That's why they're bringing in like Gyokeres and Zubimendi and buying players. Chelsea, for the standards that they've set in the last decade in terms of like what they expect as a fan base, and then Liverpool obviously being champions. All of them should have expectations to win the league, but it's more a case of I don't think anyone should be saying that just because Liverpool have spent all this money that they're outright favourites. It'll be difficult, but I had the expectation that they should go. Out,
right?
But I think but because of the money that we spent, and obviously being champions, but that brings pressure on them, and they have to deal with it because it's one thing to win a league, but then to retain it is obviously big. You know what I mean? That's something Liverpool haven't done before. So in the Premier League, so they'll all have different types of pressures, but it's all how they overcome those pressures to go out and win the big trophies. But yeah.
Total Eclipse here is saying, Mo, you said it with your own mouth. You made a video. You're highlighting your hypocrisy, Mo. Yeah, I made a video about that because Liverpool are heavily favorites, and I still insist on it. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do the 0% and all the stuff. I think if Liverpool sign Rodrygo and Isak, they're heavily favorites. If Liverpool sign Isak, they're still heavily favorites with about 60% chance of winning the league, especially because they're reigning champion. But the problem is people assume that it's over. It's not over until it actually starts, right? And I'm not going to put Arsenal ahead of Liverpool. I'm not going to do that. Liverpool are my favorite team to win the league next season. I'm just going to sit here and do that. What can Arsenal do? And Arsenal, the problem with me, and I'm just going to repeat this again. The problem with me is people assume that last season will repeat itself and Arsenal will be bad, but they forget that Arsenal were better than Liverpool 2 seasons ago for 2 seasons, back-to-back seasons. Arsenal are a good team, and Arsenal are an organized team. So is Liverpool, by the way. So is City. City probably have more problems than them. But Arsenal are an organized team. Arteta is a good coach. People now say that Arne Slot is better than Arteta. Does anybody here think that Arne Slot is better than Arteta as a coach?
Yeah.
Because he won the league last season?
Yeah. And he did it with Feyenoord as well. Do you know what I mean? He took a team against the teams in Ajax and PSV who are like the most dominant teams over there, and he won a league title with them twice, I think. And then he comes to Liverpool in his first year. Only Ancelotti, Pellegrini, Mourinho, Conte, and there's one of them, Ranieri, have only won a league in their first season. So he's like in that kind of category. And I wouldn't even say I think obviously win the league is big, and you can talk about maybe some of the issues that the other teams have had, but like the levels that he got out with some of the players, like you can say Salah had his best season ever at Liverpool, and that's because if you hear about how Salah talks about what Slot did when he came in, he was like, I just want you in and around up the top of the pitch. I don't want you tracking back and working hard. I just want you to be in the right place at the right time to get us the goals, to win us matches. Like, it got levels out. Diaz, he had his best ever season. Gakpo was unbelievable. Gravenberch. So yeah, I think right now he's definitely a better manager because he's proven it. Do you know what I mean? He's gone out and proven that, like I think Arteta, I'm not saying that Arteta's a bad manager, because I think what he's done with Arsenal to get them from where they were to where he is now is unbelievable. But at the end of the day, like, being able to win trophies is huge. And I think like that takes a lot more weight than what Arteta has done right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get it. Arne Slot was amazing last season. He was phenomenal and great. Is he a better coach? Like, okay, if you ask me tomorrow, who would you take at your club? Tomorrow, as it is. Would I take Arteta or Arne Slot?
Well, I'm keeping Arteta, obviously.
Yeah, you're as an Arsenal. He's got to get rid of his manager. No, I suppose, what situation is it in? Because I don't know, because we haven't seen Slot, like, he's come into a Liverpool team that obviously finished third, and he had some world-class players there, but like, I think Arteta went into a team that had no one. Do you know what I mean? And he's been able to like get them back up to a level that is impressive. But if you were talking about who do I want to come in and win a league tomorrow, then I would say Slot. because he's done it.
Because he's done it and Arteta didn't do it. Probably.
Yeah, it's as simple as it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm choosing a manager as won a league, why wouldn't I choose a manager that has experience of winning a league?
Do you think Claudio Ranieri is better than Mikel Arteta?
Yeah. For what he's done with Leicester, like to win a league with Leicester, and he had a very good career. Chelsea, obviously, I know Roma didn't work out in the way they wanted, but he was good, I think, there for the first year.
If Arne Slot leaves tomorrow and you have a choice between Claudio Ranieri and
not
Arteta,
not now.
Which
that's
like
like me. What? No, it's not, because it's like would I choose Mourinho now?
Claudio Ranieri,
would I choose Mourinho now or Mourinho 2005?
He didn't get. Claudio Ranieri is not like slowing down. He's not playing on the pitch.
No, man, that is managers can 100% not be able to evolve with the times, just as players can with age. It's like their tactics might not fit in certain styles. Like Mourinho is the perfect example of this. He was unbelievable in the early 2000s and 2010s, but now football has changed so much in terms of like the way we play his style doesn't suit it, and he's dinosaur in a sense.
Let me change the question. Very simple. It's a very controversial question. That Ranieri Leicester City tactics and as a coach, is it better than what Arsenal play, for example, football-wise? See, prime Ranieri winning the league at Leicester. Is that better than
that Ranieri team? That Ranieri team football at Leicester was unbelievable. They're really good to watch. I'm not saying it's like Arteta's team is different, but like you need to remember as well, like they're two very different size of clubs in terms of like how they would be able to buy players and stuff, and it just fit perfectly with that Leicester team in terms of what they're able to do.
Listen, I don't like Arteta's antics. I don't like how he speaks to the media, but I think that disrespect on his name is actually crazy in the media, because people now say he's not a good coach, and every time you watch Arsenal, he's a good coach. Like, you know that he's coaching the team to the last detail on the football pitch. You agree with them or not last season and how he played football, that is different than you watching Arsenal and thinking that guy doesn't know how to coach football. So some people say that he's bad. He's just not a good coach. And I disagree with that completely, by the way. I think he's a good coach.
That's wrong. But that is wrong.
Yeah. The problem is you're making a big point on DM as if it's a glaring weakness when it's not that big of a problem. Gravenberch is top 3 DM in the league. That is for Rory, of course. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, Gravenberch was very good last season. He gassed out towards the end of the season, and there's no real backup for him. But this is like saying if you had correctly identified at the start of last season that City's depth for Rodri is virtually non-existent, and if he was to get injured, it would be a big problem. Like, again, you could easily sit there and say, yeah, but Rodri's the best DM in the world, so it's not a problem. But it's like, but it becomes a problem if he's unavailable. And then people say, oh, always using what ifs. Okay, if we sit here and say every single player is going to be fully fit for the entire season next season for every squad, that is the one thing I can promise you won't happen. So if you don't talk about what ifs, then what do you even talk about? Like, that's
I think that the what ifs, but I think like what ifs in a certain instance, because there's no point really talking about them until they actually happen, and then like how you deal with them. Do you know what I mean? So like you say, like Mo says, like what if Salah gets injured, or what if Van Dijk gets injured? I mean, we could sit here for 24 hours talking about all the what ifs.
But we saw it. We saw it with Arsenal. Gabriel got injured. Odegaard got injured. Havertz got injured. Jesus got injured. Salah got injured.
Yeah, but we're talking about that like after the fact. So like we can sit here and talk about all the what ifs in football, because like you can just naturally talk about anything that it could potentially happen. But at the same time, it's talking about how you actually deal with that situation. Like Liverpool last season didn't play with a DM, or didn't have a DM going into the season. And the big question was like, oh my God, they don't have a DM. What are they going to do? They didn't get Zubimendi. They adapted and they brought in Gravenberch, played him there, and it worked. Like you can talk about like the what ifs, but at the same time, it's just about how you deal with those when they actually happen. Now, the same with Rodri. Man City didn't have anything to be able to deal with that, especially with how they play and how much they demand on Rodri. But it's just, you talk about it after the fact, I think.
100%. Guys, listen to Luke and hit the like button. There's 1,000 people here and we don't even have 500 likes. The like button, and we have like 600 votes, guys. You cannot vote without liking the video. It looks like thumbs up underneath the live chat. It helps the channel go to the next viewer. So help me out here. Hit that like button, people. Apologies, Rory. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just think you can identify potential problems before they arise. So, like, I think Liverpool probably will get Guehi, but until they do, then that's not that problem solved. But if we were sat here now and you had Guehi already, we wouldn't be saying, oh, but you've got a potential issue at centre back if someone gets injured. But right now you do have and it's the same with the CDM. So it's like you can mitigate certain potential problems with signings. That if you brought Palinha in, for example, we wouldn't be sat here looking at your midfield saying there's a potential problem at CDM there.
Can I ask a question? Do you think Arteta is going to change the way he plays next season?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think we even saw it a little bit in the game against AC Milan. A lot more players were taking shots on that they normally wouldn't do. And I think if you look at the players that we're bringing in, Victor Gyökeres will shoot on sight. Madueke will shoot on sight. Eze, if we bring him in, will shoot on sight. It looks like we're going for players that are a lot more direct. Again, Madueke he said again and again and again, when I get the ball, I look at my fullback and I want to take it past them. That's my only thought is I want to take it past them. So I think, there will be, and even Zubamendi coming in, you watch him, I think he completed like 35 passes and only 2 of them were backwards in that half that he played. And he's constantly trying to punch it through. So I think there's going to be a lot more almost aggression to our play. I think that was one problem we had last season was that we kind of, for the first 60 minutes of certain games, we kind of we knew we were controlling the game. We knew we probably wouldn't concede and we'd see what happened. And then you get to the final 30 and it's like, now you've given the opposition something to actually hang on to. And we didn't have many keys to unlock it. So, hopefully it's just going to be a lot more aggressive. And
because I think Arsenal were a bit passing around for no reason.
It gives you different options more than anything else. You can still play that way in terms of like being like a little bit more methodical or your approach, but like then you have players that will just like maybe take the ball and just do something unbelievable. It gives them more options. Because if I was probably thinking Arsenal last season, I think one-dimensional will probably be the word sometimes that they started to maybe move toward. And then obviously the corners are really good at the start because they were so effective. But once teams obviously maybe figured it out or they weren't getting the results from them, then they started to maybe dry up. And when Odegaard came back and he wasn't performing to the same levels that he should have been, then that was where the issues maybe started to arise. Where, as you said, 60 minutes into a game, you're passive and you're not being able to break a team down and get the goal that you need, and that's where like the issues start to come, because obviously the anxiety that happens in those situations as a fan, and that obviously puts it onto the players.
Our go-to thing became getting the ball to like the top corner of the box and trying to put a cross into the back post. Like there were games where we were just all that we tried to do was just cycle the ball to that position, put that cross in, and hope it worked. And at times it did work, in fairness, but I would rather we had a lot of different keys to try and unlock games rather than being fairly predictable.
I can't wait for the football to start, guys. It's like, what is this? What the fuck, bro? Like,
I'm going to the Community Shield as well. I got to take it there yesterday.
Who do you play?
Crystal Palace. Yeah. Hopefully,
Palace.
Gay will be starting, and Eze will be at Arsenal. All right.
Hopefully, Gay will be at Liverpool. First trophy. Pep Guardiola is the one who started Community Shield as a trophy now. So they came back down. Like he just said, we won the Super Cup. He literally called it the Super Cup in a press conference, to be honest.
It's because it is a Super Cup in every other country.
Yeah, I wouldn't classify it as a trophy. Even if Liverpool win it or lose it, like I still wouldn't classify it as a trophy.
They just branded it terribly.
Yeah,
because it used to be 5 subs, Rory, instead of 3 everywhere in every other competition.
Not anymore, though.
Now it's the same rules.
All they have to do is move it to within the season, call it the Super Cup, not the Community Shield, and have normal rules of football apply like a cup final. That's all they've got to do.
Do you know what they have to do, to be honest, to make it serious? Make it 4 teams like Spain and Italy now.
Bring it to Saudi.
Not only, you can play it in England, in Wembley, for example. Just play 4 games. Just play the 3 games, 2 semi-finals and 1 final, and then you're good to go. And now people are going to take it seriously, and they're going to take it very seriously.
Yeah, but then you're adding in 2 more games in the middle of a season that's already cramped as it is.
Italy do that, Spain do this, everyone does this. What is the problem with it? The problem with England is that you have another cup.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the problem. Carabao Cup, yeah.
The
so they already have
Cup
4.
Is the problem.
Yeah. But no, I agree. It's not right now. It's like it's a good day out. Do you know what I mean? Like even there's a lot of tickets on the exchange. It started off with 19 games you had to have been to last season, and it went down to 6. Now it's at 4, and they're expecting it to go down to. You don't need to be at a game. Just you can get to
Can
go.
I ask you guys something for real? Just the last part of the show, so we're not staying for long. Who has the most? If Liverpool get Isak, who has the most pressure next season to win the league? Start day one. Who's have more pressure? Who's the media? I'm not talking about the fans. Fans will always have pressure on their club. Every fan base will demand trophies. Who's the media? If someone falls off, if one team falls off, which media is gonna actually be a little bit harsher on?
Arsenal.
Yeah, 100% Arsenal.
Even if Liverpool sign Isak?
Yeah, because there will be pressure on Liverpool, but the biggest thing that the media love is a manager sacking, a big manager sacking. So if Arsenal start slowly, the media will be, and if you look at all of the big clubs, Slot's not going to be in any danger of getting sacked no matter what. Spurs have got a new manager. United are stuck by Amorim. I don't think anyone even considers them a big.
That's right.
Not a big club. They are obviously a big club, but like I don't think that'll be the focus. Chelsea under Maresca, probably not. So he'll be the easiest one to go for, in the same way that Ange became the easiest one to go for.
So the easy target is on his back. It's easy target.
Yeah.
It's a different type of pressure as well. Like Liverpool, like have the. Do you know last season with Pep when they were saying like the terrible run that they're in, and all the media were saying, but he has that leg room because of what he's done in the past. I think Slot will have that similar thing where like he's won a league when probably wasn't expected to win a league last year, so that'll obviously count in his favor. Whereas with Arsenal, it's been like build, and now it's like they need to do something.
Yeah, and it's not like Arsenal haven't spent Arsenal have had a big summer, so it's not like we can say he wasn't backed or whatever. He was. So yeah, I think it will be. On.
What about the players? Who's from the players will have the most pressure? Are the newcomers gonna have more pressure, like Gyökeres, Isak?
I think Wirtz will have a little bit of pressure because of like
Wirtz. Yeah, nobody talks about Wirtz. Oh my god, yeah, we totally forgot about Florian Wirtz because of the Isak and the Gyökeres.
Just the most expensive signing.
But in a way, I almost feel like if you've got Wirtz and Ekitike and Isak, and they're all at that level of signing, it's almost like there isn't one that's the standout big one. So they maybe won't have that pressure. Whereas if you just bring in one huge signing and that's where most of your budget goes, that's the pressure. I think
that's what we need to do. Just spend more money to take the pressure away from the players.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't think there will be much pressure at Liverpool. I think at Arsenal, if Gyökeres doesn't work out, I don't think the pressure will be on him for it. I think it will be on Arteta for it. And then I think Ødegaard's probably under, certainly within the Arsenal fan base, I think he's under the most pressure. But
he's under the microscope already. In the Premier League, oh my God, in the friendly, you saw some Arsenal fans like, oh my God, he's not playing well. When are we going to get the Ødegaard back? And I'm like, bro, just a little bit, slow down. Like the season hasn't even started yet. And people are saying he's not that good. And some people are saying madness about, play Max Doman or Nwaneri there instead of him. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen now. You know what I mean? When is Liverpool's first friendly? Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow against Milan, 1:30. I'll be doing a post-match for it on my channel.
1:30. Oh, okay. That's
half 12, UK time. 1:30.
Yeah, they're all 12:30 because it's
Singapore,
which is like 7 hours ahead.
Yeah.
7 hours ahead of you, yeah. But listen, people, I want to thank everyone that joined us today. This is a short show. Guys, we can get to 400 likes before we go. Rory, you're live today?
Probably, about 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Jamie?
Not today. I'm actually on another live later on the Anything Liverpool page. So I think that's at 6:30 UK time.
All right, great. I'm live again today for the Real Talk podcast in the evening, guys. The show that you guys like in the evening, of course, where we actually talk everything football, of course. This will take us to Football Terrace with the Street Facts with Don, Staffy, and Lawless. I will see you guys soon. Hit the like button before you go. Thank you guys for the support, and we're out of here.